Okay, here we go. 3, Wonder Twin powers, activate.
Be good humans, be good humans, be good humans, or we will think you suck. Be good humans, be good humans, be good humans, or we will think you suck.
I got to tell you, man, you look great. I mean, honestly, this is the first time I've ever seen you in a blazer and blue that makes your eyes pop.
Okay. I dressed up, all right?
You look great.
I'm a little nervous. It's like the first day of school, Brian.
First show, huh?
Only there's cameras and there's microphones all over the place.
Yep.
But I want you to know,
Yeah.
I cannot possibly compete with you. Brian is consistently one of the best dressed guys in my life.
That's just not true.
I cannot compete. I absolutely refuse. It's all T-shirts and jeans from here on out. I swear to God.
If I knew you were going to bring that up, I would have gotten the picture up on my phone of you in your pants.
Okay.
The pants.
Okay. I'm sure anybody who's been following us for any length of time has already seen some videos here or there on the socials of me in my various wacky pants. It's a thing.
But that's you, and your T-shirt collection is astounding.
Okay, thank you. But we did not come here for a fashion show. We actually have a purpose in being here.
Yes, we do.
Believe it or not. And I know that both of us are deeply excited to share this purpose with everyone who's watching and listening. But I feel like we should probably start this whole thing with a few introductions.
All right.
So how about we do this? How about we introduce each other?
Oh, great idea.
Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, all right. Let me tell you why I love this guy, Brian Phelps.
Oh, we're not being funny. We're being serious.
I mean, I'll try to keep it light.
No. Please talk about me.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I love Brian Phelps. It's because when I first moved to Los Angeles in the 1980s, I did not know a single solitary soul in this enormous city of angels. But it turns out I got here right at the right time, right? Because it was right around the same time that Brian got here. And because I always loved radio, I grew up loving radio in my hometown of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I loved radio, but specifically its sort of magical ability to connect you with a city. So as soon as I was boots on the ground in LA, I flipped on the radio. And I started, as luck would have it, listening to Brian Phelps every morning on my commute. Okay. And as I often like to embarrass him by telling him, Brian Phelps became one of my closest friends before we ever even met. And that is a testament to what he is really, really good at. Okay. Brian has literally talked to millions of people. He is a radio personality. He's a writer. He's an actor. He's a comedian. He is a broadcasting legend who, for 25 years, was half of a beloved Los Angeles morning radio team known as Mark and Brian. They were nationally and globally syndicated. You had your own TV series. You got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame that's walking distance from where we sit right now. And he is a freshly inducted member of the Radio Hall of Fame. And just look at his hair. Look at it. Look at it. I can't even begin to compete. Anyway,
extensions.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Whatever it takes. These are the many reasons why I deeply love Brian Phelps, but also the many reasons why, in my book, and by my definition personally, he is the epitome of what it means to be a good human.
Wow. I should have went first.
Yeah, top that.
I mean, that's really amazing. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I will open your introductions by saying we met about 5.5 years ago, and immediately there is one of the greatest human beings ever. My dad always said, you don't get respect, you earn it. And immediately you earned my respect. By your heart, we connected immgetly. What we love, what we don't love, what makes us uncomfortable. And it was all kind of based in comedy, funny, getting to know each other. And you became a lifelong friend. So let me tell you about this lifelong friend of mine. He is an extremely talented television writer and film writer. Just to name a few, if you don't mind.
Please.
Movies like I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Shows like CSIU New York, Supernatural, Rush Hour, APB, Station 19, and one of my favorites, 911 Lone Star. That's with Rob Lowe.
Yeah, you watch a lot of that, do you?
I haven't never seen. No, of course I have.
Yeah, I figured it's
he's a professor, and I can only imagine the most popular professor at the University of Southern California.
They don't pay me enough to be that popular.
He is a highly sought after showrunner, and don't worry if you don't know what that is, because I didn't when I first met him. But I kind of think I figured it out. See, folks, a showrunner is you need one, because when the studios finish a show, they need someone to run the reels of tape over to the television stations. And so all you really need is a car and a driver's license. So he's highly sought after showrunner. Do you get free lunch with that, by the way? Do they pay for your lunch?
There's literally no such thing as a free lunch in Hollywood.
All right. Well, what you've probably already heard just by him introducing me, this guy, one of my favorite things about him, and there are many, but he is a gifted storyteller. I mean, I'm serious. He could talk about a toaster and you'd be riveted. In fact, I have been riveted when he talks about a toaster. But so you know, throughout when every episode, there's going to be a time, I'm promising you, where we're going back and forth, we're interviewing someone, and the camera might hit me after you're talking for a while, and it's like it's my turn to say something, and I will just realize I forget that I'm hosting or co-hosting. We're both hosts. I'm going to forget that. And I'm just listening to you talk so eloquently. He's a wonderful, wonderful storyteller. And as I said, we've been friends for a few years now.
I was going to say, do you want me to tell the story of how we met?
Oh, all right. That's great.
Okay.
That's great.
All right.
Leave out a few things, though.
Okay. All right.
No,
so here's what I mean. We'll get a little personal here, okay? Because that's a part of this show.
Yeah.
So it was the holidays, and had a lot of personal upheaval in my life, and some real challenges that my family was having to face. And yet it was the holidays, right? So you're supposed to be feeling all festive, but I wasn't necessarily feeling super festive. And as is the case in Hollywood, there are a lot of, I mean, it's true everywhere, but in Hollywood, there are a lot of holiday parties around that time of year. So you get invited to a lot of these holiday parties. And that year, man, I got to tell you, I was not feeling it. I was not feeling the reason for the season. So I was avoiding most of these parties like the plague, but one of them I could not avoid. And this was because I actually had an active piece of development as a writer with Morgan Freeman's company. Okay. And Morgan Freeman, the legendary actor, and his longtime producing partner invited me to this holiday party, which was also a celebration of, I think, like a decade of their time in the business.
Yeah, it was huge. It was an incredible party.
Right. So it was a big party, and it was going to be at this palatial, beautiful home literally on the beach in Malibu. And so I said to myself, all right, I got to go to this party, but I don't want to go. So here's my plan. I'm going to drive out to Malibu on the night of the party. I'm gonna maybe slip a little tip to the valet parker to keep my car right there.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna get in and I'll make my way into the crowd. And then as soon as I see Morgan and his partner Lori, I'm just gonna say, hi, happy holidays, thank you for having me.
Right.
And then I'm gonna turn around and hit the door.
Right.
I arrive at the party.
Can I say, I'm going to interject something here.
Please do.
Because we were in the exact same situation. Now, Lori, Morgan's partner, longtime partner, Lori McCreary is one of my closest friends. I adore her. And I, of course, get invited to this party because we're friends like every year. And I had a rough few days and I needed to fly out to get home to see my sister. And it was just, I didn't really want to do it. But I had to.
Yeah.
Because she's a close friend.
Sure.
She was kind enough to invite me. So I'm going to, like you, slip in, make an appearance, have a taco or have a burger, whatever they're going to serve, and then leave immediately.
Right.
So,
The problem for me becomes, I take care of my car. The valet, like, please keep it close. And then as soon as I turn around, Morgan and Lori are standing in the front door.
yeah.
Within eyeshot.
Keeping watch.
Right. So there's no easy. And they're so gracious and they welcome me and I'm so happy to be here. But now, like, I'm stuck, right? And so I got to go in. I go in, and usually in a party, I'm sure, like you, like, I'm fine. Like, if I'll know people, and if I don't know people, by the time I leave, I will know people. Like, I'm going to make friends. It'll be fine. But I'm telling you, on this night, man, I'm feeling blue. It's blue Christmas. I just am not. So I get in there. I start walking around. I recognize a few people, but I just can't. I can't make the conversation. So I get a drink and some snacks, and I start making a little loose loop around the party.
And now let me interject that unlike you, I didn't know anyone except for Lori and Morgan.
Okay.
So that's another reason why as soon as I got there, I was like, I'm not going to be long for this party.
I mean,
so.
you guys watching and listening, we've all been at parties like this, right? Where you're just like,
Not that it wasn't great. I mean, it was wonderful. But I didn't know anybody.
Right. So I then, my orbit gets wider and wider until I do the most antisocial thing you can do. And I literally park myself away from everyone in the back corner shadows of this beautiful backyard. And I'm actively feeling sorry for myself. Right. And so as I'm feeling sorry for myself, I look out and here's the Pacific Ocean with all the twinkly lights. And I just want to smack myself. Like, what is your problem? Yeah. Right. And 1980s Trey starts smacking me around and starts saying, dude, if you had known when you first moved to Los Angeles and you were listening to Brian on the radio, like if somebody had told you then, hey, one day you're going to be at a fancy party with Morgan Freeman and a bunch of fancy Hollywood people, like you would have been out of your mind with excitement,
That's
right?
True. Yeah.
But I'm literally pep talking myself, and it's 1980s Trey who is doing this. And as I am actively pep talking myself, I hear some boots behind me. And I turn around just in time to see this guy in like the rock and roll duster, and he's just like perfect hair and the whole thing. And he's walking right to her, and I immediately know, oh my God, this is Brian Phelps. It's as if 1980s Trey has just conjured him from the air, and there he is. And he kind of, you just kind of gave me a little nod and a smile, and then you walk past, and then I see him doing the same kind of loop that I was doing. And then he goes to a table by himself and he's just having a drink. And then I just say, all right, this is ridiculous. And I walk over and I introduce myself to you, but I tell you everything I just told all of these good humans listening and watching us. I just open up and I tell him all the way up to I'm pep talking myself when you suddenly arrive.
And at this point, he's telling me all this stuff, and it was like, this isn't your typical, hey man, love your show, or I sure like that character you did. And it was like, whoa, this guy.
So what he does is, I tell him this whole story, and this is the part I'll never forget. He looks at me for a second, and he smiles really warmly, and he goes, I know we just met, but could I give you a hug? And he gives me a hug, which is all I really needed, honestly, in that moment. And then we just became fast friends and drinking buddies. And by the end of the night, I'm sure you remember, we were surrounded by people at this party.
Yeah, if it were a film, a movie, or on television, the edit would be this, where like we're just chatting and getting to know each other and sharing stories, low key. Now, quick cut to us standing around the table with about 14 other people. So that's what it would be.
And it is the very definition for me. It's the essence of what it means to be a good human, is just reading someone and seeing how they feel and caring about that person, even if you're just meeting them for the first time. It's that instinct to try and be your best self, right? And so from that point forward, we started talking about trying to do something together. I mean, we were tendering a friendship, as one does, but we were also like, we just felt drawn as as I guess as creative types or whatever, we were just like, let's make something together.
It's that connection we had was like, yeah, this is pretty rare. I mean, finishing each other's sentences and laughing at the same things.
We both like pina coladas.
We both like. I don't like pina coladas.
Oh, sorry, that was another relationship.
He doesn't know me at all. So yeah, Trey would let's have lunch, and we'd go to our favorite restaurants, and we just kind of talk about avenues to take. What can we do with this?
And kicking around different ideas. Nothing was super clicking, but we knew it was in there somewhere. And then it finally hit me, and it was so dumb. It was just obvious. It was in front of my face the whole time because. What I remembered from many years, and I listened to Brian for all of his 25 years on the air here in Los Angeles, and the one thing that was a constant was that he would sign off every episode of that show basically the same way, and it was with the same 3 words. He would encourage his listeners in LA and across the country, around the world, syndicated, he would say the same thing at the end of every show: be good humans. And I realized this is what we need to do. This is what we need to be. We just need to try and be good. So I remember I go to you, I come to you and I say, hey, here's this idea.
Yeah. This is the moment that he comes to me and we're looking for maybe something to do together. And he goes, Brian, I had this idea. Now, at this point, I know Trey well enough and I know his background. I know what he does. And so when a fella with, that kind of resume comes up to you that you really like, and he goes, Brian, I had this idea. Immediately, I'm just like, I'll do it. Whatever it is, we're going to give it a shot. But then he started pitching me this idea. And he goes, I think we should do a show called Be Good Humans. And he said a couple more things, and then I stopped him in the middle of it. And I said, Trey, let me just interject this. I love this idea, and I'm honored that you would want to do this and that you had this idea. However, it's not for me to do a maudlin, saccharine kind of a show. I don't want to do a podcast about Touched by the Angel, or whatever. I just want.
By the way, I'd watch that. But
actually, but that's just not me. I wouldn't be very good at it. I'd have to be kind of me, which is just an idiot,
And I said good thing because you are an idiot, and that won't be a problem.
He actually did.
It really won't be a problem.
But I just wanted to be energetic and fun and funny and all that. And he goes, no. That's what I'm talking about. You be you. We'll be us. But also, we're going to celebrate being good humans and celebrate people that are good humans.
That's exactly right. And so that is, in fact, what we are trying to do. What we are hoping to accomplish here, my friends, is in acknowledgement of the fact that the world is kind of a chaotic and complex place of late. I mean, probably historically, but it seems like particularly chaotic and a little bit dark of late. And so our goal here is to try and lighten things up, right? To try and lift people up a little bit.
And we're going to do that by talking to people from all over the world, from all walks of life, who in some way, some fun way, quirky way, many times humorous way, but always a heartfelt way, they just try to make the world a better place. Now, I'll use a term that our producer, Grant, world-class producer, by the way, and you'll meet him throughout our time here. He's just a fantastic guy, as impressive as a resume as Trey. But he goes, you know what this should be? Because I kept kind of, when we're talking about it with him, I kept saying, but we got to be funny. We want to be entertained. We want to be up. And he goes, yeah. That's exactly it. This show should entertain and hopefully inspire. So that's, and I wonder, is that possible? Can we do that?
I think we're going to screw it up royally.
So that's what we're trying to do. We're going to find out if it's possible.
Here's what I would like to do now is let's go way back before we met, because I think it's important for you and I to sort of zero in on a definition. Did you hear that? Zero? That you can tell I'm from Oklahoma. Certain words, zero in. I've been told.
What do other people say? Zero.
Zero.
But zero.
I'm zero.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I
that's
see.
it.
Yeah.
We're going to zero in on some good humans in our lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Here in this section.
Here in this session,
Yeah.
just because we want our viewers and our listeners to sort of be of a piece with where we're coming from here, right? So let's talk about childhood good humans. Let's talk about like parents, siblings, extended family members. Okay?
Well, of course.
Tell me about some of yours.
Of course, my parents come top of the list. No one comes near them. They were my best friends, and they were such unique people because they both worked very, very hard. Mom, 12 hours a day in a coat sewing factory. She sewed actual jackets, and Dad worked so very hard, 6 days a week, and they always made me feel wonderful. Always made me feel supporting whatever I do. Like when I decided to get into this business we call the industry, in show business, and go to acting school and go to directing school and start my improv group, it wasn't, he even said, it's not what I would do. I would maybe join the military and get out on a pension, and you'd be just great. But nonetheless, when I was playing in bands as well, he and Mom would sit in the front row every gig I had, every single gig. Even if I become a person that, or I do a thing that they really can't relate to, they are going to be supportive.
They're all in.
That is a good human to me. And they were such a great sense of humor, such a way of looking at life for small farm town, 2,000 people now, Cambridge, Illinois. For small farm town people, I showed them when I started skydiving. I showed them my tape, and I still remember. I was looking at this is a VHS tape, and I was looking at me skydiving on television. I wanted to show them. I was so proud. And Mom goes, I hear her behind me go, Bri, yeah, Mom, I want to do that. They're in their late 60s. They're in their, and Dad goes, yeah, I would too. So flew them out here, and they went skydiving.
They really were in. They were all in.
They were all in. And when they landed, Dad landed first, and I ran up and go, how'd you like it? And I've never heard him do this. Woo! I mean, that's just not in my father's DNA. I ran up to my mother. It's a tandem, so she's still connected to the guy. She lands, and I run up to my mom, and I go, Mom, what do you think? How'd you like it? She goes, Bri, don't talk to me right now. I can't feel my legs. But that's the kind of people they were. And
I love
I'm
that.
so fortunate. How about you? Parents?
Yes. Okay. So I'll speak with some specificity about each of them here.
Okay.
My mother, God rest her soul, my mother first taught me to read and write. Okay. So I'm not sitting here without that, obviously.
Were you homeschooled?
No. But by 3, she had me reading headlines from the newspaper, and then she taught me how to write. She was a very talented writer herself, and I modeled on her in a lot of different ways. My father is the person who first taught me how to sing. He's a brilliant musician in the Rockabilly Hall of Fame to this day. But he also taught me how to sell. He was a director and a producer of commercials. And so I learned a lot of really important lessons from him there. My grandmother, Alice, my maternal grandmother, is the first person who made me feel important. That was through a whole series of experiences that I had with her, but she just always made me feel like I was the most important person in the room, even as a kid. My grandma Helen taught me the value of hard work. She's one of those classic Depression grandparents who had multiple brothers and sisters and worked, in the fields and worked her way up through life, and just a backbone of steel. So that was important. My sister Kendall, my original BFF. So really the earliest definition I had for like what friendship is really all about. My wife Nancy, who has given me so much joy and support in life over the years, not the least of which are my 3 amazing kids, Clementine.
Who, by the way, Clementine?
Yeah.
One of the producers.
Yeah.
She's here.
She is.
She's
it's true.
Amazing.
It's amazing how you can forcibly conscript your offspring into work. But Clementine and Crockett and Cosmo are my 3 amazing kids. And I think the last I would mention, just for the family of it all, is my late father-in-law, Mace Neufeld, who was the second dad I never knew
You
I
were
needed.
very close to him, yeah.
Yeah. So
You mentioned your grandma. All my grandparents were amazing. In fact, I'm very lucky because for some reason, other than me, my whole family basically marries very young. So dad was 17 and mom was 20 when they got married.
Wow,
Right?
okay.
So my all my grandparents, I had grandma, grandpa, great grandpa, and 2 great grandmas.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, until I was like almost a teenager.
Yeah, that's so
So
cool.
Christmas was awesome. But so you mentioned grandma. She taught me a very, very important lesson. One of my grandmas, and we went uptown. In my small farm town, and she got me a candy bar, and she goes and she said, "Well, we got to get one for your brother and sister." I go, "Why?" And I wasn't a mean kid. I was just like, why?
Yeah.
You bought it. I kind of felt special.
Yeah,
She
of
goes,
course.
because you never give a gift to someone and not give it to others. And that stuck with me.
That's good human
That
stuff
stuck
right
with me.
there.
And my grandfathers, both my grandpa Simmons and my grandpa Phelps, I give them the good human not just because they made me laugh. And here's how they made me laugh. They were both geniuses at the art of passing gas. They were, Grandpa Simmons, here's an example. We're sitting at their house, and I'm little kid, 5, 6 years old, and probably watching Bonanza. And my grandpa's sitting behind me in the chair because I'm sitting right in front of the TV, on the floor.
Sure.
He's smoking a pipe, and this is his comedy with the gaseous secretions. I'd hear this. Phone's ringing! Or, toast is ready! And he just cracked himself up, and I love that. So it was like maybe the first laughs, that I experienced and,
Right.
and
So
wanted
you've
to.
made the point. Part of being a good human is good comedy. Good humor. Good humor.
Could be part, but yeah. go ahead.
What about beyond family? Let's talk a little bit briefly about like teachers or mentors, because they become...
Mrs. Bayless, she top there for teachers and mentors. Mrs. Bayless, I wouldn't be sitting here with you. I wouldn't be in here in Los Angeles. I don't know what I'd be doing. But in this little farm town, again, a little small town, there wasn't. So our school had less than 300 kids in it, and she somehow saw something in me that was more. I was always trying to crack my friends up, probably just to get attention.
Yeah.
But she saw something in me. So she cast me in the first musical Cambridge ever did.
Which was?
You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Okay, nice.
And she gave me the lead, and I didn't know what I was doing, but she saw something in me. She asked, but this woman, not just for me, the good human part, not just because she was kind to me and saw something in me, but this is the good human she was. She turned that entire small town inside out. She had farmers building the sets for the gymnasium set. She brought the choir over to do this, and she brought the whole town together.
Yeah.
This went on for years and years and years.
Yeah.
She was such a very, very special human being.
Love that. I mean, the impact these people have. Miss George was my 3rd grade teacher. She lived to be 100 years old. God bless her. She was the person who first taught me that I could connect with the bigger world.
Yeah.
That it wasn't just about this classroom.
Yeah.
I had a history teacher, Mr. Fritz, who taught me how small the world really is through the history he shared. Miss Cook, who's still around and an amazing woman, was my high school drama teacher. Who taught me how to reach the back row, right? And then I had a beloved professor at USC Film School as an undergrad student there, which is what first brought me out here when I started listening to you. William Kelly won the Oscar for co-writing the movie Witness with Harrison Ford.
Oh, I love it.
He made me a better writer than anybody I ever had before or since. So teachers and mentors, huge.
Another thing that we connected with and kind of realized it just through talking, we didn't actually verbalize it, but we both are very appreciative.
Yeah.
We both are we know how fortunate, just to be surrounded by all these wonderful people and these influential people on us. And the fact that we both kind of see that was a connection with us. We both realize how fortunate to have a close family, to have these people that care about you, these mentors, and to just be able to say, I realize that these people are so wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, literally neither of us would be sitting here without these incredibly good humans in our lives. But this is the thing. We know that these are not the only ones, right? There's a lot of bad humans in the world who tend to get a lot of headlines and airtime and all the wrong attention. But we have decided to devote ourselves in this show to flipping that focus, right? So the idea here is we want to meet and we want to talk to good humans from all over the planet who move and support and inspire other people in all of the smallest and biggest and obvious and maybe not so obvious ways. But we need your help to do that, okay? So this is what we ask of you. We would love for you first to visit our website, okay? This is BeGoodHumansPodcast.com. Go to that site. There's a place on our site where you can tell us about the good humans in your lives that you think we should meet. People that have really moved you and inspired you in some way that you think can easily move and inspire others. Please go to our website, BeGoodHumansPodcast.com.
And we'll track them down.
Yes.
Some of them, we'll track some of them down. And well, Sean will, because Sean's an amazing
yes,
associate producer.
Our other producer, Sean, yes.
And talk to them and see if they wouldn't want to be on our show.
Yes. Also, use that same interface on our website to tell us your pointers on how to be a good human.
Simple daily things that you do to make your life as well as the others around you a little bit better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So please go to BeGoodHumansPodcast.com. Give us those pointers. Also, please follow us on our socials. That's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's Threads, it's TikTok, it's X or whatever the hell they call it now. Go there, follow us on those places. And then one more way we can ask you to stay connected to us as Be Good Humans. Particularly good humans will go and subscribe to us on Patreon. There you're going to get some bonus material that maybe didn't make it into the show. There's probably another 2 hours of this show that wind up on the cutting room floor that we'll use. Also some member exclusive videos and posts. We're even going to do, get this, I haven't really talked this through with you, but we're gonna do some occasional live Q&As where you can ask me directly where all my hair went and ask Brian how he keeps his so perfect. I think that would be great. Some hair care tips.
Hair obsessed, aren't you, man?
Well, listen, at a certain point,
jeez,
at a certain point, you gotta. Anyway, bottom line is, follow us on Patreon. You'll get some super cool exclusive access to special stuff that you can't get for free on the podcast or through our social media accounts.
Let me just say, this is our first show, so
Yes.
this is sort of the introduce us and introduce what we want to do, kind of a thing. But usually around this time, after we've had a lot of fun together, and you might sense when you get used to the show, you'll see, oh, they're leading somewhere, they're having a blast, and they are being funny, or they're leading it somewhere. So usually we would lead up to something and then introduce a guest. Again, it might be a celebrity, it might be in the studio, but more times than not, it's going to be someone that's done in another country, someone in the other side of America, someone who's done something remarkable, either globally in a huge way or just a small way. Like, it could be as small as a 9-year-old girl who we find out that she sells her lemonade stand money to buy her friend a coat. But we're going to have fun with these people. We're going to have joking around, and it's going to be up. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
However, we will not meet that 9-year-old girl with the lemonade stand. She went public, so we couldn't book her. But we did manage. We did manage to book, and we'll tease it out a little bit. In our next episode, we will be very excited to talk with this huge star of the big and the small screen. This is the amazing actor Titus Welliver, who you probably know best from TV's Bosch series.
Yeah. Oh. That's a good series, but he's been in so many movies.
A million shows and movies. But
I don't know how he found time going to find time to do our show.
Only because the Lemonade Girl dropped out.
Yeah,
but,
good, yes.
But there are things that you don't know about Titus Welliver that make him a particularly good human.
I have an Indiana Jones made by a company called Toys McCoy, and that's kind of held value like a stock certificate. But with that whole, keep it in the box, I sort of did the thing like, well, I'll get one to put away, and then one to open up, and kind of. I had a room in my former house, which was sort of the cinema room, and I had a guy come in and install shelves. And it literally was, it was a nerd's paradise.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say nerd because that's such a
own it proudly, wear it proudly. Yeah,
I go, well, if that's what a nerd is, then I am.
Sign me up.
I'm king nerd.
So we're gonna talk with him and about those things that make him a good human. That's it. We can take turns, certainly, but I think definitely for this first show, if you would indulge me, just to bring things full circle, all of these years later, after I first moved to Los Angeles and turned on the radio and heard you encourage millions of people. I think you should take us out, Brian, with our
You want to do it together?
No, you're going to do this one. You're going to give our viewers and our listeners your 3 most sage words of wisdom.
On one condition.
What's that?
You have to wear a tie for the rest of the time we do this show.
Well,
Every single episode, you have to wear a tuxedo.
So much fun.
Oh, no. Lederhosen and a tube top.
I didn't see the show dying one episode in, but apparently we're done.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for joining us on our first show. We will see you next week. And don't forget to go to our website and clue us in on other good humans so we can get a hold of them as well. So until then, everyone, thank you very much. Trey, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
And be good humans.
Be good humans. Be good humans. Be good humans, or we will think you suck.